Her triumphs.
I took a group of women that didn't believe in themselves, and I just believed in them.
Her trials.
I never wanted to go to practice. I was losing a ton of weight.
Her story.
I just put my faith in God and just trusted the system.
Her why.
I want people to see what I did and say, oh, that's so awesome. I'm going to be better than that. That would be how I hope that this journey ends.
This is Her Why, where we tell the stories from BYU women's sports. Here is your host, Lauren McLean.
We're so glad to have you here with us on Her Why, where we celebrate the women who make BYU sports great. We're excited to have Paisley Johnson-Harding with us on Her Why. Paisley is first in BYU history in most games played. She's the 2019 WCC Tournament MVP, three-time All-WCC honoree, played professional overseas, and now she's back on the sidelines as an assistant coach for the BYU women's basketball team. Paisley, welcome back.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
You're officially a BYU Cougar again. You had a little stint as a Wolverine. What's it like being back at BYU, but this time as a coach?
It's so fun. I will have to say, practicing with the girls in the annex, like I'm not practicing, but being there coaching, it's like, oh my gosh, can I be a player again? Because it was so fun. And I'm sure when games start and we're playing in the Marriott, it's going to be even more like that tug of just wanting to continue to play. But no, it's been great and it's so fun. And I'm learning so much, which like, that's what I want. I want to be pushed. I want to learn from all the other assistant coaches and Lee, and I'm just really excited to be a part of it again and be back like in this atmosphere.
Let's go back to when Lee Camard got the head coaching job. Were you already thinking, man, this is my shot to come back?
I mean, Lee, him and his family, I just appreciate so much him being one of my assistant coaches for 3 years of my career. He's someone that I turned to. He was like my assistant coach that I could feel super comfortable around. I talked to him about, he's not like the best with things that pertain outside of basketball, but there are definitely multiple times where he had caught me in super sad moments where he just talked me through it and was just a super great mentor to me. And then obviously basketball wise, I just trust him a lot. And as a player, he helped improve my game immensely. I think there are a lot of coaches out there that have a really special eye for the game. And I thought Jeff Judkins was definitely one of those. And I see Lee being just the same. So yeah, he's just someone that I really look up to, not just as like a mentor and friend, but also as like a basketball coach. So when he got the job, I honestly was just super, super excited for him. And I championed him in that moment. And it just meant a lot because I know what it meant to him and his family. And yeah, I want to see my people succeed. So I was super excited about that. Whether it was an opportunity for me or not, it really didn't matter. I was excited about it, and I'm glad it turned into this.
So take me through that process of leaving UVU and coming to BYU. How did that all come about?
So obviously the job was posted, and Lee had reached out to me to apply. And I was actually home with my parents and my family when he had given me the call to just apply and just he wanted to give me the opportunity to have an interview or like go through this opportunity to have this type of experience, because without doing anything, without putting yourself out there for this opportunity, for any opportunity in life, like you're not going to have the experience to know what to do next or what you can work on. And so yeah, he just as a mentor, and I think just for him wanting to take care of his people, he just was willing to, extend this like, hey, let's give it a try. Let's see how you do. There were no promises or anything like that. And so plus, like, as an individual, I wanted to make it to the D1 level because of what I brought to the game, who I was, what player I was, what I could bring to the basketball court. I didn't want anybody because of who I knew or who my parents were. Like, luckily my parents, well, not luckily, but like my parents weren't college athletes. And so I wasn't like chasing them. So it's really important for me to do something for what I want. And I even expressed that to him. I was like, hey, like, I want to be on your staff because I truly can make a difference.
Yeah.
That I can truly change the program for the better and put my stamp on it that helps it continue to grow and be a competitive program. And he said, Paisley, I wouldn't be interviewing you. I wouldn't be asking you to even apply if it weren't that case, if I didn't think that, which I think we're on the same page with that. So yeah, I was just super excited, and I'm really glad. I mean, he's given me this opportunity. Like, I kind of live my life in the sense of, if it's going to happen for me, like, it will happen when it's supposed to, and I'm not going to try to force it. So I'm just really glad it happened this time.
You wanted to blaze your own trail.
Yes.
And you wanted to do it on your own merit.
Yes. Okay. But let me tell you about moving over from UVU. That was hard. Like, I built such great relationships over there. And I mean, Dan, he was my coach as well for 2 years of my career. My first 2 years of my career, he's someone who recruited me. So I mean, I'm just so grateful for the opportunity he gave me to go over there. I was the director of ops over there, and as well as an assistant coach. So I really got to learn all the aspects of what makes a team run in athletics. So yeah, it was honestly, like, it's bittersweet to walk away from those girls and those relationships. But I'm just up the street, and they know that, and they were super excited for me. And I don't know, when I deal with people, like, if you're my person, if we have a relationship, you're my person for life. It doesn't matter how much time is in between it. So it's super sad to have left those girls and not be able to coach them again this season. But I'm excited for them, and I know they're excited for me. So
yeah, I was super curious what Dan Nielsen's reaction was when you came up and told him, I'm joining Lee's staff.
I mean, he was super excited for me. He understood. He also said, like, he was like, I thought this might be a possibility.
Well, it happened to Kaylani, Unga, Morgan,
Yes.
Bailey. So, I mean, it couldn't have been a huge surprise for him, right?
Yes. And I mean, I was very transparent with him through the whole application process as well. That's just, I know what he would have done if we were in reversed roles, and it's something, like, I didn't want to do anything, you know.
Yeah.
My relationships with people are very important to me. And so, but he honestly, he was super excited and wished me the best, and he was great. Yeah, I appreciated his reaction.
You were a guard when you played. So what's your official role on the staff now? Are you going to be working with the guards, or what does Lee have you doing?
So yes, I will be working with the guards. I think that's just a natural aspect. I've worked with them a couple times already, which is really fun. I mean, the basketball is just fun. But I also will be taking over the director of operations from Kaylani and allow her to really kind of step more into the assistant coaching role. She was already doing a lot last year, doing scouts and both of it. It's honestly, I did the same at Utah Valley. So it is a lot, but I mean, I'm really excited to give her the opportunity to, I mean, she's such a great coach, and she's great with the players. I'm really excited for her to kind of just be able to focus solely on coaching.
Yeah. What do you think the impact is of having a female coach for these women come in who's not far removed from the game, who is also a BYU Cougar? What kind of hope or connection do you think that's going to give the women to you?
I hope it's impactful. I hope it, I don't need it to mean anything to them. I really just want to, I just want to be able to help them have the same opportunities and more that I had, the same. I mean, I feel so blessed to have had the career I had. But I've also been privy to teammates and my own husband maybe not having the career they wanted. So it's like, I want to be able to be a coach that helps them chase their dreams and do that. So I hope to be a coach to them that, like, yes, I've been in your shoes. I know what you're going through recently too. Like, and I mean, I can put my full heart and soul into what BYU stands for. I sacrificed 5 years of my own time to put everything on the court and a part of this university. And I want to do the same as a coach. Like, this place does mean so much to me, and it means so much to my family, and it's given me so many, it's helped mold me into the person I am and the people that are here that have done that. And I want to do the same for these girls growing up. Like when I was a rookie playing overseas, the coach there even said, like, Paisley, you don't act like a rookie. I attribute that to a lot of my parents, and I also attribute that to BYU and just the professionalism and classiness that we are expected to uphold. And like the brand of BYU is so much bigger than all of us. Yeah. And I truly believe that it's helped me just be able to handle myself in these more professional settings way better than maybe if I had gone somewhere else. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's been awesome.
You've also always been very personable. I remember from the moment you started playing, you were very, very energetic, very easy to talk to.
Thank you.
Which translates so well to coaching. Was coaching always something that you wanted to eventually do?
No. Jetty would always say, like, oh, my players, like, they'll leave and never want to coach, and then all of a sudden they'll turn around and be like, oh, you know what, actually, I still want to be a part of the game. So definitely not. Like, I did not want to coach. I was not where I was heading, you know. I had been playing my whole life since I was like a fourth grader up until I was, 23, 22? Mm-hmm. Like, how old? I don't even know how old I was, but maybe 24. No, I'm not. I'm 26 now, so that's definitely not right. Maybe I was like 22 or something, 23. But yeah, I mean, I didn't always want to coach, but what kind of put me back into wanting to be a part of it is, like, I could still be playing professional basketball right now. I definitely could. But I wanted to be back in the college, like, environment. I wanted to be back around people that, you know, there was a bunch of excitement around it. I could see college basketball growing. The WNBA is now growing. Like, I could definitely see that. And I feel like I got to be a part of help pushing that agenda. And so, like, I want to be back and help help these women, like, be a part of that and have the best experience they have, because there are so many resources. And I wanted to do it here at BYU. I wanted to give back. I wanted to be a part of it. And I also understand, I'm not naive in the fact that there are a lot of resources here at BYU that are not at other places that are so exciting for our athletes, that are so exciting for me as a coach. And, you know, I just wanted to be a part of it. And so I just decided, you know, I need to get back into it. I have the knowledge of it. I was coached by great coaches that have helped improve my IQ to a place that I don't think if I was under Jetty, I would have had the career I had, you know? So, I just want to give back. I want to be a part of this fun experience for these girls and help impact them and have these relationships with them, like, forever.
Jetty's a legend. I love that guy. So let's start with how you first got involved in coaching. How did you started at Timpview? Mm-hmm. How did that opportunity come about?
Well, when I had come back from Germany, I had decided I wanted to get back into college athletics and coaching, but there wasn't an opportunity for that. I had tried, and there just wasn't an opportunity for it. It wasn't my time. And so I was talking to Haley Steed about it when we were playing at, like, the Provo, like, old women league tournament that we had, you know?
Yeah. It was like the rec league?
Yeah. It was so fun.
Gosh, you guys probably dominated. You and Haley were on the same team?
Haley and I were on the same team. We had Kaylani on there, Morgan Bailey. It was so fun. Except I did get blocked by Babada. It was a 3-pointer, and we lost because she blocked me. And Babada is like 4 inches shorter than me. I don't know how she blocked it, but she blocked it, and she loves it. She has a picture of it.
She has a picture of it. She brings it up.
Anyway, Haley, I was talking to Haley about, she's like, well, what are you doing now? You know, everybody asks you that when you're out of college. Everyone asks you that. Mm-hmm. And so I just said, oh, you know, I'm trying to get into coaching. She was like, you should come coach with me, because she was the head coach at Timpview at the time. And I was like, oh.
You're like, high school.
I don't know. Yeah, exactly. I was like, I wanted to go back to college. But, you know, it worked out. I was able to assistant coach for her and be the JV coach. And I mean, I love those girls. I love Haley. Haley is such she's such a great person. Us together is like fire. It's amazing. But yeah, she got me, she gave me that opportunity, and I feel like I helped the program. And that's honestly where it started. It was so fun. I was able to, give those girls the knowledge that I had, and try to art with what Haley was doing, continue to uplift that program. And I think I did.
Was it a big identity shift going from Paisley the player to Coach Paisley? Was that kind of a weird thing?
You know what? Not really. Like, especially as a player, I already kind of felt like a coach. Juddy really allowed us to have open conversations, even with him, of like how we wanted to guard things, what we wanted to do. Obviously, the coaches, they had their game plans and everything, but really when it came down to baseline out of bounds for opponents, like he let us choose how we wanted to guard it. He kind of gave us a baseline, and if we'd say like, hey, can we try it this way, he would allow us to, and we'd most of the time go that way. Like he had no ego when it came to that. It was super fun, and that kind of gave me a taste of like, actually thinking the game, using principles to play it, and just working through that. So as a player, I was a coach, like the adjustment over to that, it's just second nature to me. I feel like, especially with the opportunities I had at BYU as a player to be able to do that.
It seems like you have a lot of respect for Juddy. You've talked about him a lot, and you've now worked for 2 coaches that have coached under him. Do you see, and you're only a few weeks in with Lee, but do you see any similarities from how Juddy coached that have trickled down to Dan and to Lee?
Yes, I definitely. I mean, I have so much respect for Juddy. I'll always give him his flowers. I mean, I got him for 5 years. I feel so lucky that I got him I truly got to play for him for 5 years because of COVID. The COVID year I got back, and I have so much respect for him, and I definitely see like his hand in the 2 respective coaches, and it makes it easier for me coaching, because then I know, especially with Dan, like I know what he kind of prefers. I know his language. It's super easy for me to jump in and him know me as a player, and then respecting me enough to be able to allow me to throw my input and not be maybe nervous about, what's she gonna say? So yeah, definitely. And I mean, Lee, like even today we were in a meeting and he's saying, yeah, Judkins, he would say like this about this, and I really appreciated that, and I like that, and that's something important for me, and we need to implement it. So definitely.
So how did the opportunity, so you were at Timpview for a year, and then you get the opportunity to go to UVU to coach under Dan. How did that happen?
So there actually was an opportunity the year before I went to Timpview, that I had some of the coaches reaching out being like, hey, you should apply. And I just didn't know, like, okay, do I want to jump straight into this? Do I want to see if I even like coaching? Because up until that point, I'd only coached BYU summer camps,
Yeah.
Like, is this something I truly want to get into? And so I'm glad I had the opportunity at Timpview. Like, okay, yeah, I do. Let's do it. So pretty much what had happened is like I had understood, and I think there was understanding the previous year that there was interest on my end. And so when the next year came up and there were opportunities, I was on the phone with Dan, letting him know, hey, if there's anything that opens up, I'd like the opportunity. And then UVU does a jamboree, a team camp tournament for one of their camps in the summer. And I had reffed that. Connor, my husband, and I, we had reffed for Dan and that camp when we got back from Germany. So I had done it again that year, the year before I got the UVU job. And like he's there, and I I saunter over all cool, like I know what I'm doing. There was no running involved.
Yeah, very professional.
Because I've been running reffing the whole day. Anyway, I saunter over there, and I'm like, hey, I want to do this. Like, if there's an opportunity, I want to do this. And he just kind of laughs, and he's like, yes, I know, Paisley. Like, we'll see what happens. And so when the opportunity came, and one of the assistant coaches had left, he had called me and we had gone kind of through an interview process. I ended up not getting that job. I didn't get the assistant coaching job, but probably 2 or 3 weeks later, I got another random call from Dan, and it was, hey, our director of ops is leaving, and the new NCAA rule allows me to hire or to have up to six assistant coaches on my staff with that title, but I'd hire you as the director of ops, and you could also assistant coach and be on court. So that's ultimately how it happened. He said, do you want to do that? And I said, yes. And he said, okay, when this finalizes, I'll let you know. And then I got hired in like
Wow.
5 days. So it happened really quick. I mean, kind of like what I touched on a little bit at the beginning, like what God's plan for me is going to happen. I've had so many examples in my life where I want to do something and I have a plan and it doesn't follow through, but then I can look back and say, oh, but this happened and maybe I didn't like that, but it worked out in this way. I can see that. And so in those situations, I'm upset. I give my husband a little cuddle. He holds me, but you know, like I knew that the opportunity for me would come. I'm someone that chases after my dreams and goes until I get them. And so I knew, okay, I didn't get the assistant coaching job at Utah Valley. It's okay. It's sad, but it's okay. Let's move on. Let's figure it out. And then 2 weeks later, I get the opportunity. And I mean, I'm so grateful for Dan for, I'd already gone through the interview process for the assistant coaching job. So he knew me. He already knows me. And so it was just like, okay, yeah, I know what I want to do with Paisley. So yeah, I really appreciate it. And it's gotten me here today. I promise, Cougar Nation, I'm not going to jump to a different school next year. It won't happen. I promise.
Well, let's see.
No, literally, I will be staying. So
Would you describe your first overall year at UVU? Because I'm sure that jump from high school to college is a big one. Is there anything that surprised you about kind of the day-to-day workload that collegiate coaches have to do?
I mean, I remember because I was going over travel, like I was not booking flights, but I was picking flights for our travel agents to book for us and hotels and locations and pricing and all this stuff. And my shoulders and my neck are getting so tight because they're up here by my ears. And so, like, I remember that. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to relax.
Yeah.
We're all good. We'll figure it out. Everything figures itself out. And so, like, that process, definitely more on the director of ops side, was something that challenged me. That side of the job truly challenged me and provided me skills that I'd never had before and that I would not have had if I hadn't gone through that. I made a lot of mistakes. I learned from them, and I'm a better coach in Dobo because of it. And so, like, you know, that was something like I all of a sudden had anxiety, and I'm like, I need to just go to bed. But yeah, basketball side, I mean, like, that's the fun part for me. The practices with the girls, that's the fun part for me. So, like, the way I prepare for it, like, that didn't change. Like, I think mostly what changed is, like, from high school to college is the girls wanting to be there and truly wanting to improve. Like, the girls at the high school level, they loved basketball, but like it's not their job. Like, here at college, it's now your job.
Yeah.
You're spending a lot of time, and they're here solely for basketball. They're not playing another sport, you know?
Right.
So yeah.
What was it like having to tell those players that you'd spent so much time with that you were leaving?
Which ones?
Just at UVU.
It's so hard. I mean, so the day I got to tell the girls was the same day that it was announced online that I got the job. And I had to call them, which I much rather would have done it in person. But that was hard. Like, that day was like a mix of really, really highs and really, really lows. And it was just a rough day for me, honestly. Like, It was not a fun day, and you know, I cried with a couple of them, which is just, I mean, to me that just showed how much like it mattered.
Yeah.
And so it was hard. It was truly hard. I mean, those relationships and not being able to, you know, continue on their careers with them. I mean, that is so, I didn't have too many assistant coaches that did that when I was a player.
Yeah.
So I wasn't privy to that type of like heartache. So it was tough, but I mean, I got to coach Sage Gibb, which is Delaney's older sister, and I love her to death. I think she's hilarious and awesome and a great basketball player. And luckily I have her sister on my team now, and she's not far away and she's around, you know. So like I have these relationships with the girls, like Amanda Barcelo, who I played with and then I coached, you know, like those relationships are gonna continue to be there. I'm not the type of person that like when I leave, like I'm gone. I'm still lingering. I'm still annoying you. So
we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll talk about Paisley's record-breaking playing career, her experience with the Seattle Storm, and playing in Germany. This is Her Why. What's up, everybody? This is Lauren McLean. If you like this podcast, make sure you check out my other podcast, Royal Legacy, where we dive deep into the family connections of BYU sports. These families share stories of what led them to athletic greatness and how family has been a big part of how they got there. Download wherever you get your podcasts or on the BYU radio app. Welcome back to Her Why. I'm Lauren McLean here with BYU assistant women's basketball coach Paisley Johnson-Harding. All right, let's go back to your playing days. Why did you choose BYU in the first place? What brought you here?
My parents didn't play college athletics. I was like the first girl in my club program to get a scholarship. So we were very new. Like me and my family were very new to this. We did not know what was going on at all. My dad and my mom also raised me very loyal, just to a fault. Like we are very loyal people. And so after my freshman year of high school, I didn't even get to go to like the last day or two of like high school. I got to go. My dad was like, "You're going to camp?" I was like, "I don't want to go. I want to go to the last 2 days of high school. Those are the fun days." No, but so I ended up going to a camp, and there I was put into the younger gym, one of the younger gyms in the RB, because they break it up in age groups, you know, the older girls in the field house, the younger girls in the RB. And so I got split up into that group, and Melinda was the commissioner of that group. She was a coach that was recruiting me, or ended up recruiting me, but she was like, "Oh, you're not supposed to be here." Like within the first drill, she's like, "You're not supposed to be here. You need to be in the upper gym. Go find Ray." I'm like, "Who's Ray?" "Go find Ray and let him know that like I moved you up here." I'm like, "Okay." So I go in, I go find Ray, and he's like, "Oh, okay, yeah." So then for the rest of the week, I was in there, and Ray was talking to me, and he's like, "Hey, we want you to come back to elite camp." I'm like, "Well, what's that? When's elite camp?" And it was the next week. So I'd call my parents, said, "Hey, you guys aren't going to believe this. Like, they want me to come back to elite camp." I'm just thinking like, yay, more travel.
Yeah.
Like, this is so fun. I'm not understanding like what the heck is going on. Even like I think there was a football player who was coaching camp that week, or maybe he was a men's basketball. I think he was a football player. But I was just shooting before camp had started after lunch. I was just shooting. He was like, "Hey, like, who do you think's the best player here?" And I'm like looking around. I'm like, "Oh, probably one of those girls." Like, yeah, that there were twins. And I was like, "Oh, probably that twin." And he's like, "No." He's like, "You are." I'm like, "Oh, what?" I'm like, "Cool. Yeah." No, so that was kind of like, I guess, the start and the awakening of like my whole recruiting experience. And then they followed me. I came back to the elite camp. They ended up following me that summer. And then Jetty called me and offered me like after one of my high school volleyball practices. So that was really exciting. And then that night, my dad was like on Zillow looking at like houses down here to get when I was playing here so they could travel easy and stay there. So like my parents are both alma maters of BYU. They bleed blue. If you know them, They love it. When I was over at Utah Valley, I'm like, you guys cannot come here in your BYU gear. You cannot. I will get in trouble. This is not a good look. Do not come here. But they love BYU. I mean, it was awesome. So once it was offered, my dad was like, "Okay, let's do this." And he's like, let's accept it. Let's accept it. And like I had said, we're very loyal people. And my dad like didn't quite get the understanding of, hey, recruiting process is like a two-way relationship.
Yeah.
Just because maybe I don't commit right away, that doesn't mean I'm not interested.
Right.
And so he, in his mind, he was like, okay, let's commit. And then we're not talking to anybody. So I have no idea who was interested in me as a player. I only got one offer. My recruiting experience was, I think, very unique in that way of just not knowing what's going on. My dad didn't want BYU to think that I was not interested or like not being loyal to them. And so I had accepted like 2 days later.
And you were okay with that?
Yeah. Like I mean,
even in hindsight, you're like, oh, it worked out.
Hindsight, I would have much rather gone actually through a recruiting process. I think that would help me as a coach too.
Yeah.
But I also think as a player, as athletes, we put so much time, we sacrifice so much time to do what we do. I would have loved to get wined and dined at different schools. You know what I mean? I would have loved that. But, you know, I think it's a unique story. I think it's fun. It's something different. It really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things because I wouldn't have chose a different type of career I was given.
Yeah.
And I truly chose like BYU because of the coaching staff and the way I felt when I was here on campus. So I wouldn't have changed it.
And the loyalty says a lot, I think, and can go a long way. So if we showed you a picture of bright-eyed freshman Paisley with her whole career ahead of her, what would you say about her when you look back at that freshman season? What do you see in yourself?
You know, I am really proud of the person I was because I stood on business. I was, we had a rough season. We had really good players on our team, but the way we played is not the way I enjoy playing basketball. And I let Juddy know. Like in the end of year meeting, I let him know. I said, hey, we need to be held to a high standard and it starts with you. And we got to work together.
Yeah.
We got to play together. So, you know, I'm really proud to look back on and know that like I just am true to who I am. That's very important to me. It makes life really easy for me to just be who I am. And, you know, I'm really proud of her. Like I don't know what type of player I was in high school. Like I'm a very athletic individual. And I think that was enticing to BYU. And then on top of that, I like cheered on my teammates. I get excited for the people around me. And I think that goes a long way in athletics, especially college athletics and recruiting. I don't know what else they saw from me. I was like an aggressive driver. Besides that, I honestly don't know what else they saw from me, but I got here. And I like became a defensive threat because the way I was going to touch the floor was playing defense. And so I'm very proud of that. I'm very like happy that that was a priority for, you know, Juddy and the other coaches. And I mean, I take a lot of pride in my defense as a player and keeping people in front of me. There are not too many times that like players ever got around me. And if it weren't for that freshman year, I don't know if that would have, you know, been the case or happened. But, you know, I'm proud of her.
You developed that skill. You were fast. I remember you were very, very fast. What are the moments when you look back on your playing career? And this is probably a loaded question because you were there for 5 years. But what still stands out to you the most? Like when you just look back on those 5 years, what comes top of mind?
Just the people, like my teammates. Like I literally am doing this for them. Like I want to bring back what the fun we had when I was, you know, teammates with them back to this team. You know, this is for my teammates. These are for my past teammates. Me doing this is for them. This is for the future Cougars, you know, coming through. Like this is for them. I think of like the Florida trip we took was it last year? Yeah, my last year we took a Florida trip, beat 2 top 25 teams. Like, you know, it was so fun. I think of the dinners of us going out to eat on the road, just all yapping and, giggling with each other. I think of making like TikToks with everyone, and just dancing and having fun. But ultimately, like, I think of my teammates, and I think of them and all the fun we had, and I miss them. I'm like, dang, there are not a lot of us back here in Utah. Everyone left, but hopefully we get a good reunion one day.
I hope you do. Your final season was huge for BYU. Top national ranking, best home record, big crowds. You win the WCC regular season championship. When you look back on that last ride for you, what stands out?
On the basketball aspect, I just felt like I was playing good. I felt confident in my role. I just remember having a lot of fun. Like, we knew when to have fun. We knew when to get down and work. And there's a great balance of that. I just remember a lot of fun. I look back on that year and I'm like, how did it go by so fast? How can I relive that? It was just amazing. And I know I can be a part of that, as a coach too. So I'm just excited for that. I want to get back to the NCAA tournament. That's such a fun time. It's super hard to win. It's an art to win. And I'm excited to help provide and be a person that I'm used to winning. So kind of bring that, to this team and help us, win a lot of Big 12 games.
I'm excited for you to do that, because then we'll have you back on and you can tell us the difference between what it was like as a player and as a coach, because I think that'll be interesting. You were teammates with Ari Mackey-Williams, and now you're going to be your coach. What's that like, being in the same program again?
I did the same thing at Utah Valley. I was teammates with Amanda Barcelo. She was a freshman when I was in my 5th year, and I was teammates with Talia White, who was at Utah Valley, and I actually was on the team with her for 2 years. So, I think Ari and I have great respect for each other. She is willing to hear coaching feedback, and I want to give it. She just wants to get better. So sometimes, I was a little hesitant at Utah Valley. I'm like, oh, what is this gonna be like? Is this gonna be weird? Whatever. But it really wasn't. The girls handled it well. I think Ari is going to handle it well. And I mean, when she was a freshman and I was a senior, I was kind of a coach to her as well. I was able to help her, give her feedback. That's the type of player I am. But that was also the type of team we had, where we were super open and willing to help each other. And players were receptive of that.
And probably a big part of why you guys were winning, because you were open and helping each other. After BYU, you were invited to a training camp with the Seattle Storm, and that's your hometown team, right?
Yeah.
What was that whole experience like?
Wild. I mean, it was so fun. When I think of that experience, I can easily relate that to my experience at BYU. I mean, how was I in the same gym practicing with the same balls with Sue Bird and Brianna Stewart and Jewel Lloyd and all the other amazing players on the team? I mean, it was so fun. I met their girlfriends and their boyfriends, and we all hung out and whatever. And then we'd go on the road, and I was on the road with them in Arizona when we were playing the Mercury, and I got to meet Tina Charles. I'm just like, what is going on? This is so fun. So, it was such a great experience, and those girls welcomed us in super easily and with so much grace and love. And I just felt really amazing with that whole aspect. And I was just myself. I was cheering everyone on. I was having fun, and I got to play with Avina Westbrook, who I'd played against. She grew up in Oregon. I grew up in Washington, played against her, and I mean, she had a great college career as well. So I just got to play with people that were at a high level and learn from them and be able to hold my own, and that meant a lot to me.
So what happened from there? How come you didn't end up sticking with that team and then moving on to the next opportunity?
So I think more and more people are understanding the WNBA is one of the hardest leagues to infiltrate. I mean, when I was offered a training camp contract, there were 12 teams, and you can have up to 12 players on it, and like the roster cap is 12, and then the salary cap is like 1.5 million. So when it gets to trying to organize a team, it gets really dicey. And I mean, there are women in that league that have been in that league for a really long time. But for example, Sue Bird took a pay cut that year so she could have Jewel Lloyd and Brianna Stewart on the team and have them have the max contract, which I think was $256,000 for the season. And so they, with the Seattle Storm team, I think they only took like 11 girls that year, and they took no rookies. They kind of just they used the players that they already had to try to win a championship. They paid the players as much as they could, and then players took pay cuts so they could have certain people on their team. And so like they didn't take any rookies. I wasn't offered a spot on the team. I wasn't picked up after that by any other team. And so after that I got to stay there the whole training camp. Like a day or two before they were finalizing teams, I was kept on the team. So that was really fun. I got to play 2 different games. Shaylee Gonzalez came and watched me in Arizona and supported me. So that meant a lot to me. And so, you know, that just didn't work out. But then after that, 3x3 is really big overseas. And I think it's getting bigger here in the United States. And I actually played for a bunch of them, maybe like 6 different WNBA teams sponsored 3x3 teams, and they paid for us to go around and play 3x3. And so I was on Seattle Force 10. That was a 3x3 team name. And we ended up winning the whole summer, and we got a nice chunk of change. And so that was fun. So I also got to represent the Seattle Storm in that way. And then after that, I was then signed my contract with my team in Germany and went out there.
I'm curious, after winning the 3x3 tournament, did you have some WNBA eyes back on you? Like, oh, maybe she's, more valuable than we thought.
No, I didn't. Maybe I did and my agent didn't let me know or something like that. But no, if they had, my agent would have let me know.
Yeah.
No, they weren't. I actually knew that the Seattle team was looking at me as a player as well and watching me throughout my career. So that was really awesome. But I don't know, maybe if I'd stuck playing, I'd get the opportunity again. I mean, I am 5'9", and that is a smaller side for a guard, but I play super big. I play like a big guard. The thing that I pride myself on is like that. Not a lot of people get the opportunity to have even a training camp contract. I really wish I had gotten drafted. That would have been awesome. That was a goal of mine, but I didn't. But then all of a sudden I got a training camp contract.
Yeah.
And not everybody gets that.
Right.
And so there are people that have gotten 3 or 4 different training camp contracts over the years, each different season, and still haven't made a team like that. That league is so tough to infiltrate. They're expanding now, which is super exciting, and that's going to give a lot more girls opportunities. And I'm excited that I helped to be a part of that for people to come. Like growing up, I always heard of the Trailblazers that were blazing the trail for me as a player, and then now I'm doing the same, which I love. It's all about building women up, and I'm glad I'm a part of that.
Was the competition noticeably different from college to the WNBA, even in that training camp?
I mean, hello, Brianna Stewart, how are you that size but play like a guard? You're playing like me. Like, you have a pull-up 3. I don't get it. Yeah, I mean, it's unreal. It's unreal. It's so fun. You're playing against a high level. Every single person there was a star of their college team.
Right.
So...
Well, then you ended up in Germany with your husband, and he had an opportunity over there as well.
Yeah.
And you were there for a year?
Yes.
What was that like? I mean, that's like you're inundated with a new culture, new language, teams. What was that like?
It was I look back on it and I think of it very fondly. While I was there, it was brutal. Like, there was a lot going on back home that was like, kind of like making Connor and I think, like, what are we doing here? But in the grand scheme of things, and Lee, I called him multiple times because he had played overseas for 11 years. He just said, hey, Paisley, the farther you get away from it, the fonder you'll feel about it. Right now, you're just living it. and it was the longest year of my life, but it was so fun. I met Callie and Darian, which Darian was one of Connor's teammates and Callie was his girlfriend. They just got married. We were at their wedding last week in Mexico. It was so fun. You know, we grew lifelong best friends with them over there. If the only reason for us to go over there was to meet them, I'm more than happy with that. I ate great food. We lived in a bike city. I was biking to the city with my husband every night or on the weekends to go get Vapiano's, which was our favorite restaurant. We had the sister missionaries there that we took care of, and they took care of us, and we had them over for Christmas, and they were a little slice of home for us. And then basketball-wise, I met my teammates over there that I love so much, and one of them has a gold medal in 3x3 for Germany. Like,
Wow.
what? It's freaking amazing. So, you know, it was super fun. The basketball is fun. I did well over there. I got to meet a lot of different people, and I'm really grateful for that opportunity. Connor and I had so much fun, and we met great people. We had great food. We got to live. Honestly, besides Callie and Darian, the other best thing about that experience was how close Connor and I got and how much we truly had to just rely on each other. It really strengthened our relationship even more than it already was, to a place where, hey, I can't like call my friend up and just go and like vent to her, like, and tell her what's going on or whatever. Like, I just have my husband over here. It's just him and I. We don't have family we can rely on. You know what I mean? So it really strengthened our relationship. It made it allow us to have the skills to make the time we have together very personal and important to us. So, I mean, it was such a cool, great experience. And, you know, with Emma Calvert leaving and going and playing, I'm just so excited that I can now be like a voice for her when she is going through really high highs and really low lows, and telling her, hey, girl, I understand.
I get it.
Let me tell you, I understand.
We just had Emma on, and she's incredible.
She's amazing.
We're wishing her all the best of luck over there. It was the Czech Republic,
Yep.
right, is where she's headed. Let's talk about your husband, Connor, for a little bit, because he was here at BYU, and then he ended up transferring to UVU. Was there ever a moment you're like, that you considered following him over there?
No.
You're just like, well, you're going to be there.
Why
and
would
I'll
I
be
do
here.
that?
That's a great question. I don't know.
No.
Okay.
I had a great I mean, I had spent 4
You
years
had a good
already
thing
here.
going.
I had a good thing going. I told him, I was like, because it wasn't Utah Valley. Like, it wasn't like, okay, I'm leaving, I'm going to Utah Valley. It was like, Connor, I think I'm going to stay here. But you go wherever. We'll make it work.
Yeah.
We'll make it work. I want you to have the experience you want to have, and we'll make it work. And he eventually decided that he wanted to stay close to me and go play at Utah Valley. And I mean, he grew to love basketball again over there. So, yeah, but there would be no point for me to follow.
You're like, I'm staying here.
Yeah.
What's it like being married to someone who understands the basketball grind as well as you do?
You know, it is so nice. Because we met each other when we were both college athletes. There's a lot of time that goes into being a college athlete. There's a lot of time that goes into traveling with the team. And so it's like all we know. Honestly, him and I are very independent people. And so like there are multiple times where we'll go our separate ways and spend time wherever we individually are wanting to go. There are times where we're together and really, really enjoy that. And the reunion is amazing. So, you know, we're very independent people in that fact, but then also now being a coach, he totally understands. Like I sometimes I've gotten it from a couple coaches, like, hey, like, make sure Connor's on board, make sure your family's on board, make sure that they truly understand what's going on. And Connor and I are like, we've done this is our relationship.
Yeah.
This is what we do. He pushes me to be the best person. He pushes me to be a better coach. He makes me a better person, and he supports me like wholeheartedly. You know, after I interviewed with BYU, it was a long day of interviews. It was a long weekend of interviews, and I came home and debriefed with him, and he had helped me in the process of preparing for these interviews. And so he was in it with me, in the thick of it. He understands basketball. He understands what's going on. He gives me great points. But after I debriefed with him about what happened and what was going on, he'll probably hate me for sharing this, but he cried tears of joy and like just being so proud of me. And that's the type of man he is. He's the type of person that's as a athlete when we were both playing, that's how he was as a husband. That's how he is. He's pushing me forward. There's no resentment. There's no jealousy, none of that, which I really appreciate. That I could not have handled that. That's not the type of person I am. That's not the type of person I want to be around. And he truly just makes me a better person and pushes me. And I mean, if he hadn't helped me prepare the way he had for the interviews and him understanding basketball, like I wouldn't be as good as I am as a coach. You know what I mean? And we bounce ideas off each other of ideas for basketball. You know what I mean? Of different principles. And it's so nice that I can talk to him about it and he understands. And I mean, he would be a phenomenal coach himself. So
maybe one day. Speaking of the two of you and your relationship, coming from us podcast lovers, what happened to your podcast that you two had together? It was called the Outlet Podcast.
Yes.
And you mentioned that it was successful. You've had people asking you about it. Now you've come back to Utah. How come you guys stopped?
Well, we stopped when we we started because we were like, let's do something together when we have the time. Because like I had 2 days over there in Germany and a day off. And I think my games were on Sundays. So my day off was Monday. His games were on Saturdays and his day off was Sunday. So it was like, we were always not on the same schedule. And so we're like, how can we make our time together purposeful? Let's start a podcast. Okay, what are we going to talk about? Well, obviously basketball, our life, what's going on. Like we're overseas. This is such a cool experience. But then once we got home from Germany, it really stopped. And we haven't done it since.
Because were you kind of like, what do we talk about now? We're not.
Honestly, yeah. Like, I mean, we definitely could still do the podcast and people have been really fun. Like, oh, I love hearing you, like listening to you guys, what was going on. Honestly, Connor and I are very passionate people and we tell it how it is to each other. So sometimes the podcast would bring arguments and we're like, how are we recording our arguments right now? This is so weird. But I don't know, like it was fun. I think it was something we enjoyed doing together, but it was something that I was kind of pushing more. And then now we're just busy with work.
Yeah.
And what are we going to talk about? There's nothing fun about us. We're just
well, that's not true.
Life.
That is totally not true. But there are different seasons.
Yes.
Yeah. Makes sense. My last question for you is, you've had so many different experiences, player, pro, and now coach. How does it feel being back where it all started?
Oh, it's so fun. I mean, just walking around, driving around campus, like I'm just like I think it was only 4. I think we're going on 4 years since I've left. Like it was only a little bit ago that I was literally living the same lives that these girls are living. And so I just am having flashbacks of like me driving in the car with Maria and listening to music, and me and Mally and Abby and Maria at the pool, like every summer after workouts, like just getting so tan and meeting people, you know, all the memories are flooding back. And I'm just really excited to make more, honestly, with a different group of people. And, you know, I'm really happy to be back here, and it's a whole full circle moment. Yeah, and I'm just like I said, like I'm really excited to learn and like grow as an assistant coach and just become better and really push myself and have people around me that are pushing me.
I'm here with Paisley Johnson-Harding, BYU women's basketball assistant coach. Paisley, you are amazing as always. Thank you so much for being here and taking the time. Good luck this season.
Thank you. I was happy to do it.
Thanks to Annie Robinson and Christy Solomon for producing this episode with senior producer Cleon Wall. Her Why is a production of BYU Radio.